Ethan Rowe's name shook the whole state of Michigan. A drifter with a violent past, he quickly became the main suspect in the Dawson family murders. What started as a quiet weekend at a lakeside cabin turned into one of Michigan's most chilling manhunts. On a cold autumn morning in Pinewood, the lake was calm and the leaves rustled in the wind, but something terrible had already happened. The Dawson family, who often stayed at their cabin, had not been seen for days. Neighbors noticed something strange. The lights in the cabin were left on all night, and the family dog, usually barking, was silent. When calls to the Dawsons went unanswered, a worried neighbor called the police. What followed was the beginning of one of Michigan's darkest investigations. When police entered the cabin, they knew immediately something was wrong. The front door was unlocked, unusual for the cautious family. Inside, the scene was horrifying. Furniture was overturned, glass shattered, and food sat half-eaten on the table. In different rooms, police found the bodies of James Dawson, his wife Claire, and their teenage daughter Lily. All three had been killed violently. The brutality shocked investigators and the entire community, where violent crime was almost unheard of. News spread quickly, and fear grew in Pinewood. Neighbors whispered in shock. Parents kept their children inside, and shops closed early. The once peaceful lakeside town now felt unsafe. Police were desperate to find answers. Nothing appeared stolen, and the family had no enemies. The lack of a motive made the crime even more chilling. Detectives searched the cabin carefully. They photographed everything, collected fingerprints, and gathered blood samples. Near the back door, they found muddy footprints leading into the woods, but the trail stopped suddenly, as if the suspect had gotten into a car or deliberately covered his tracks. Outside, on a tree branch, they found a torn piece of dark fabric. Forensic testing showed it belonged to Ethan Rowe, a man with a criminal record for burglary and assault. Rowe had been seen in the area days earlier, even asking strangers for directions near the Dawson cabin. This made him the prime suspect. But detectives wondered why the Dawsons. They had no connection to him. Rowe's background showed a man used to running, surviving through theft, and often turning violent. He had little fear of the law, making him even more dangerous. Soon, the whole town felt the weight of the manhunt. Police patrolled the streets, helicopters circled above, and checkpoints were set up on highways. Some believed Rowe had already escaped, while others feared he was hiding in the forests nearby. Investigators knew they were up against someone skilled at disappearing. Each hour mattered, because they feared Rowe might strike again. The search quickly grew into one of the biggest manhunts in Michigan history. Police blocked roads, helicopters scanned forests, and K-9 units searched trails and abandoned buildings. Still, Rowe slipped away, leaving only faint signs behind. Detectives found evidence of his survival: campsites with fires still warm, food wrappers, and stolen vehicles abandoned on back roads. These clues proved he was always moving, always adapting. Every discovery gave police hope. They were close, but Rowe seemed to vanish each time. The chase had only just begun, and it was clear this suspect thrived on staying one step ahead. The media attention around the case made the fear even worse. Ethan Rowe's face was everywhere on newspapers, TV, and online. Police told people to stay inside, lock their doors, and call if they saw anything unusual. Reports started pouring in from all over Michigan. Some people said they saw him at gas stations. Others claimed he was hitchhiking or eating at diners. Most of these calls turned out to be false alarms, but the huge number of sightings showed how much the public was on edge. Parents kept their children indoors, and nearby towns even canceled events out of fear. Detectives, however, saw something more troubling. Rowe's movements didn't seem random or desperate. Every stolen car, every abandoned campsite, and every false lead suggested he was playing a game, deliberately confusing the police. His past crimes showed he was unpredictable, and investigators worried he might be preparing to kill again. The thought of another family suffering like the Dawsons pushed the police to keep working nonstop. By the third week of the search, tension was at its peak. It was no longer just about solving the Dawson murders, it was about stopping a dangerous man who thrived on chaos. Then came a shocking discovery. Security cameras at a rural gas station showed Rowe with another man. The second figure was taller, with his hood pulled low to hide his face. His identity was unknown, but his presence was clear. This meant Rowe might not have acted alone. The idea of the killers terrified the public and forced detectives to rethink everything they knew. If there really was an accomplice, he could be helping Rowe survive, supply him with resources, or even plan new crimes. Investigators searched Rowe's past for possible partners, old friends, cellmates, or drifters. A few names came up, but none matched the mystery man in the footage. A breakthrough came when a hunter stumbled upon a hidden campsite in the Upper Peninsula. Police found maps of Pinewood with strange notes, hunting knives, duct tape, and even items stolen from the Dawson family. It proved the murders weren't random. They were carefully planned. Whoever Rowe was with, they were organized and deliberate. This discovery shocked the state. The news showed Rowe and his unknown partner as dangerous and calculated, not desperate. Police doubled their efforts, knowing that if they didn't stop them soon, the Dawson murders would only be the beginning. Finally, after weeks of searching, investigators found Rowe hiding in an old farmhouse near the Canadian border. The building was isolated, surrounded by thick trees and fields. A stolen truck was hidden behind the barn, and fresh tracks in the dirt showed recent activity. Police surrounded the farmhouse with armored vehicles, helicopters, and tactical units. Inside, they discovered blood-stained clothes, a rifle, and Dawson family belongings. This was undeniable proof of Rowe's guilt, but he didn't give up easily. He tried escaping through the backfields but was chased down and captured after a struggle. His arrest brought relief, but it also raised more questions. The farmhouse showed no signs of the mysterious accomplice. Only Rowe's belongings were there. Some investigators thought the partner had split from him long ago. Others feared the second man had already escaped into Canada. With no identity and no proof, the second suspect became a ghost in the case, an unsolved mystery that haunted detectives. Pinewood slowly returned to normal, but people were never quite the same. Families locked their doors tighter, and many admitted they no longer felt safe in the woods. For the Dawsons' relatives, Rowe's arrest brought some justice, but the grief could never truly fade. The Michigan State Police closed the case with Rowe's capture, but they knew deep down that it wasn't fully over. The mystery of the accomplice still lingered. What started as a brutal family tragedy ended with one man behind bars, but the possibility of a second killer still out there kept the story alive, whispered in fear, long after the headlines disappeared.